Hey guys. Yeah, I know Jason's gonna stream, but I have almost a full pack of cigarettes right here. Where did these come from? I might just have to stream anyways. My hair is nuts right now, guys. But I'll pop into his channel every now and then. And if you guys want to see him stream, be my guest. But this is just when I stream. It's my schedule now. Every day. What is happening? Can I stay here? You can stay wherever you want. It's up to you. We did that story last night. My hair is starting to dread up again. You're happy about that. Awesome. Hey, Hope. Clever play on words. Clever play on words. Who are you? Did you change your name? Let me see here. Me. My channel. My show. Volume down. There it goes. Huh? What's happening? Hey, Hope. Oh, nothing. I just did dinner with the family. That was really good. That was the one I whispered to. No? What's no? Jason's gonna be streaming soon. Hope if you want to pop in there. Trying to clean up my dang links. This is my other account, the one I donate with. Oh. Well, right on. You gonna go over to Jason's and donate? Stupid thing's pulling out hair again. Dang old dang. Where's the Burt's Bees? There's the Burt's Bees. We're good. Burt's Bees. Before and after every show, and multiple times in between. I don't know. Don't judge me. Alrighty. Well, we can get straight into it if y'all want. I don't want to look at channel analytics. The story is called "The Fairdale Kids Stay Inside." Here's the link if you want to read along. You know how I read sometimes. It's a little messed up. Guys, I have a confession to make. What's the confession, Hope? Go ahead. Why haven't I made you a moderator? There you go. Story time! Hey, Stacy, what's up, Bubba? How you doing? Should I wait for Hope to answer? Anyways, this one's called "The Fairdale Kids Stay Inside." I have a confession to make too, but I can't find the ingredients. What's up, Jason? Jason, I hate to I'm going to be streaming the whole time, but I'll pop into your channel. And anybody that's in my channel wants to go to your channel, I fully support. You gonna be doing some cooking for us today, Jason? I've been good. How have you been? No cooking today. Just talking crap. That's basically what this channel does every single night. You get Ernie and David in here and we lose all semblance of busy but good. I just had dinner with the family, with one of my aunts and then her friends. It was good. They're sweet. So I guess we're gonna have to have a streaming war. Oh no, you're gonna totally win. You'll totally win the streaming war. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to post a video of me singing on my Instagram because I'm way too nervous and I'm afraid that people will make fun of my voice or judge me or something. Diamonds Evil, what's happening? How are you? No worries, Hope. It's all good. I understand. But if you ever do decide to, we'll support you. I had some fazoli's for lunch. Fast food Italian. It's not great. It's not bad. It's fazoli's. And then I got a Wawa. Hair in my mouth. Anyways. We got 8 people in here. Let's do a quick story. This one is called The Fairdale Kids Stay Inside. I swear there's hair in my mouth. Tearing up. No tearing up, Pope. Está bueno. We call them fallen angels. They were strung up by their ankles and suspended from trees. There was always barbed wire, wrapped all around the body, sliced the skin and ripped the tissue, and it was the worst if they struggled. Ideally, they would die of dehydration. But this mercy was extended to only a very fortunate few. Most of the time, they would dangle from branches for hours as the barbs tore their flesh and the pressure built in their heads. When upright, the heart doesn't have to pump blood that hard to circulate through the brain. Gravity does most of the work to get back down. Consequently, the blood vessels up there are smaller and thinner than the rest of the body. I'd rather be hung personally. I would much prefer the struggling for breath and kicking for air and the hot, white agony of my vertebrae coming apart than waiting for the blood to pool in my head, clot, and then eventually burst the veins and feel the warm, sticky liquid drip out of my eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. A noose would be kinder and suffocation gentler. There's something in here, my brother would tell me from the porch, pointing his cigarette towards the trees. It watches the people, then strings them up if it doesn't like. As paranoid as he was, I agreed with him. He spent a lot of time on that porch. I don't let him smoke in the house. He sat out there, cigarette in hand, gun in the other, just watching the woods and waiting for something to come out. One night, I heard him yelling, frantically trying to get my attention. Gunshot after gunshot exploded through the air, intermingled with the crazed screaming. I ran to the porch to find my brother in a panic that was slowly turning to rage. Guns don't do I saw them. Their eyes were just peering out from the trees, effing watching me. They almost glowed. He empathetically pointed to the woods behind our house, trying to show me the eyes that weren't there. That's no reason to wake the whole neighborhood. My brother had a habit of keeping his cigarette between his teeth when he talked. It didn't matter how important what he said was. I could only see the glowing end of the cigarette bobbing up and down as the words fell out. It was effing infuriating, and it was one of those trivial things that finds its way into the skin and stays there, tapping at the inside of your skull. I had expressed my displeasure several times. He didn't seem to care much. I must have been giving him a look this time, because he yanked the cigarette out of his mouth and let it limply dangle in his fingers. "I will not be strung up in those woods," he spit his final words at me before he stomped out the remaining half cigarette and stormed me inside. I wasn't worried that the neighbors were going to call the cops. They knew my brother, and they knew the woods. It was amazing the things you can get away with in this town. Everybody was afraid, but more than that, they were constantly on edge, as if their whole body was seething with anticipation. Hey, Angela. Pube again, Chappy. The paranoia was so ingrained to these people, could have only been born out of desperation. It seemed that they tried everything: guns, knives, brute force. Crap, one time someone tried to light the whole forest on fire. The kids played in the street, or preferably, if they had friends from the next subdivision, in the backyards of the next neighborhood over. Then they grabbed their flashlights in the middle of the night and they would tell stories about the woods. They never talked about Bloody Mary or Slender Man, because in Fairdale, the real horror lived 10 feet behind their homes. I don't think anyone in that town had seen the creatures in the woods, but we all knew what they looked like. The descriptions were spread out in passing whispers and hushed voices, out of fear that they were listening. All the children spoke softly, empathetically about their gray skin, 6-inch fingers, and hollow infinite sockets carved deep into their skulls. They seemed almost human, and maybe they once were. Once, that I can remember, a kid went into the forest. A bunch of others dared him to. They waited in the shadows between houses, hearts pounding even though they weren't the ones going in. In silence, they watched him glance back, hoping they would call the whole thing off, and reluctantly submerge himself in the trees. There was a snapping of twigs and then abruptly stillness. The group did not take their eyes off the woods, yet they could not see the fear among them. Yet they could see the fear among their friends. They waited for a minute, surprisingly, before cautiously taking a few steps backwards, then turning and sprinting away. The boy was gone. The very next day, a group of police officers, most of whom resigned the next day, were set in after him. Let me tell you, he struggled. The wire tore through his skin of his abdomen, leaving his internal organs to spill out and hang all over his body. After that day, no children went into the woods. They didn't have to be told not to. After the paper ran the story, Fairdale lost its mind. Sure, bodies turn up every other week, but it was never a child. That kind of death was somehow more than a murder. It was a disaster, a tragedy. I lived right against the edge of the woods, and that incident stuck with me. It somehow made the whole thing real. These things were here, right behind my house. My last night in Fairdale was hopefully the worst of my life. My brother was outside smoking, and I was on the couch, mostly asleep. I'm not a heavy sleeper, so I was glad when the small noises around me seemed to quiet down. Just as I was about to drift off, my brother fired the GD gun about 3,000 times, ran inside, and slammed the door behind him. His effing cigarette, still lit, clenched fiercely in his teeth. I shot up, dazed and unsure what was happening. Hands trembling, my brother ran to all doors and windows, making sure they were locked. What the F, man? I rubbed my eyes, wishing I was sleeping. He sat on the coffee table, inches away from me, voice raspy and frightened. I saw them. They came out. His eyes were crazed, and his mouth was running faster than his head. He inadvertently blew smoke from his lips with every rushed word and forced breath. I didn't even know you could see him. My mouth opened, but before I could speak, I heard something tapping on the sliding glass door. My jaw hung ajar. My brother and I froze instinctively. It was too soft to be a knock, but it was too hard to be the wind. A moment later, it came again. "They're coming to get me," my brother whispered. His eyes were wild, darting across the room as if they were afraid to leave them in one place for too long. "They don't like me." "You sure you saw them?" My voice was barely audible. Somehow I knew that they could hear me anyway. "I first noticed them in the corner of my eye. Just one at first, but more came. Tall. My God, they were tall. Until they started moving. Thought they were trees. Their arms hang at their sides, as gangly as branches. What gave them away was the skin. Looked like ash." While the sounds did not increase in volume, they came to new places. I heard them still at the door, but now often on the windows, sides of the house, and most disturbingly, the roof. They don't have faces. I mean, they've got eyes, but not really. They just got these holes. My brother made circles with his pointer finger and the thumb and held them over his own eyes. And the holes have this black coming out of them, just dripping down their heads. I think they could have been human if they wanted to be. My palms were clammy. I broke out in a cold sweat. I could picture their long, bony fingers wrapping on the house. Their not eyes from the window, waiting for us to draw back the curtains to meet their gaze. Until that moment, I don't think I've ever been truly afraid. It echoed all around us. We knew we couldn't leave, and even if we called someone, what good would it do? I didn't think anyone could save us. Our only option was to wait and hope we had not received a death sentence. And now could hear it coming from beneath the house. These things were everywhere. It scared me that they didn't just burst in, that they were waiting for something. It scared me more that I didn't know what. I couldn't do anything but wait. This isn't how I wanted to die. My brother and I sat on the floor between the couch and the coffee table and hoped it would end. "What do you think they are?" I asked. We had all heard the stories, but these creatures had no name. They simply existed. They were always here. We did everything we could to leave them alone, to live without them. And for the most part, they left us. They took some people, I suppose, to make an example. It was a constant reminder of the fear. Maybe it kept his town in line. My brother's head was bowed, and his eyes would not meet mine. He lit his fourth cigarette of the night, taking a long drag and holding it in, deep in his lungs before releasing it. With his eyes still fixed on the door, he said the only words that have ever struck fear in my core. "Jimmy, I think they're God." I could only hear the tapping and feel them starting into me from all directions, despite the emptiness of the house. We knew that what they were in some way, both inside and out. I forced my eyes shut, and in the darkness, I was only able to picture their elongated limbs hanging at their sides, their shoulders hunched to fit their under low ceilings. God, I could feel the inky ooze dripping onto my hair. I refused to open my eyes because if I did, they might have been there. If they remained close, it was easier to pretend. My brother promised me that he would stay awake all night. He swore. Grabbing a pillow from the couch, he handed it to me and insisted that I slept. I argued, but I was so tired. Eventually I did fall asleep, albeit against my will. It had been noon when I awoke. I was alone. I checked the whole house and even mustered up the nerve to step on the porch, but I was alone. Dead or alive, I had to find my brother. I went into the woods. I think that was the biggest F up in my entire life. After a deep breath, I stepped to the tree line. The sun was high in the afternoon sky, but it was impossibly dark inside that forest, even more unbelievably silent. I was the only thing that disturbed the stillness. To be honest, hear and say that I didn't have a plan. I had no idea where to look for my brother. I didn't know how I would react if I found him in the branches. When I stopped in a small clearing to look around, the blurs at the corners of my vision began to move. I knew what it was. I froze. I think that even my heart stopped beating. Maybe they wouldn't see me. Maybe they'd leave. Maybe I was losing my mind. They got closer to me, close enough to see. If they didn't move, they could have been the trees. But if they did, they were something that shouldn't have been allowed to exist. I shut my eyes and ran blindly through the forest, running into trees and scraping my arms on low-hanging branches. Miraculously, I made it out. I didn't stop running until I threw myself in my car. I sped down the highway and checked into a motel. Though it took me an extra hour to fall asleep that night, I kept the TV turned up just in case they came tapping. I never saw my brother or Fairdale again. I'm no genius, but I knew when you get the F out of that town. I moved to a new state, this time making sure I lived in the city, away from the woods. Even though years and miles have passed since that night, every so often I hear the tapping again, with the knowledge that I can never escape my hometown. I am left with nothing else but to wait until it's my turn, and I hope I dehydrate. That's a pretty good story, huh? What do y'all think? Y'all still alive? Not many people talking. Hope has a surprise. What's your surprise, Hope? Yeah, that was a good one. Was the tapping too much? I don't know. I was just going like this. Oh, I gotta rewind that and listen to it. I was just going like this. Oh yeah, that just sounds like a tap. Okay, yeah. That was a really good one. I like that one. What is this one? Did I read this one yet? Might have to come back to that one. How's everybody doing? Or wait. I hope everyone's doing well. How are you all? Say something to me. Oh, Ernie, you can try. Oh. Ernie, did you like that story? Yeah. The internet keeps cutting out. It's annoying. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Pip. I really want to stick my finger into my new fan. Everything kosher behind me? I thought I heard noises. I definitely don't need to hear. Ooh, my phone is hot because it's charging fast. This fast charger is great. It not only charges your iPhone really fast, but you can heat Hot Pockets on it. Don't do that. Don't stick your finger in the fan. What if I throw gummy bears at it? I'm not going to do that. That'd be a waste of good gummy bear. Dang, there were 7 gummy bears in this one. One to sacrifice. Sorry, little guy. I won't do it. Anyways. Someone was replying on the Fairdale Kids Stay Inside story, and the person goes, "P.S. The next time the tree by my house taps on the corner of my roof, I think you're gonna owe me a new pair of pants. I just thought you might want to budget for that." What's this one's random? Et Cetera. There's got to be a story about a guy reading to people on the internet. Look for it. Or what about his viewers? This is double spaced all the way through. Okay. Munch, munch, munch. Cigarettes in my dang pocket. We're at a steady 5 people in here. Let me send a message out. Let me see. What about Twitter? I don't think anybody ever really cares. Share. That button. Copy the link. Alright. I started watching it. I thought Chappy was creepy. Now I feel creepier. You're the guy with 28 couches, or maybe more. Anyways, this story is called The Forgotten Hour. Actually, no, this one's got a better rating. It's called Deadarm. I'm back. I appreciate it. We're going to do Deadarm. I've been completely clean for about 2 years now, and I owed all of that last drug I ever took. It apparently goes by many names. It's not easy to get your hands on. People who use it only give it to close friends, or people who they mean to do harm. Nothing can prepare you for the experience, not even smack. Myself, I did Deadarm when I was a senior in college. Finals were getting rough. I had a group of buddies that I took things with, not exactly the type of friends your parents hope you make. None were students like me, just townies, all different ages, from 17 to almost 60. None of us were alike in any way, except for the one thing we had in common: what we were putting in our bodies. We'd veg out, high as a kite, escape the world, escaping our problems. The more pressure I felt in my normal life, the more I turned to smack to help me through it. I would never even associate with these other folks before I started using, but they were slowly becoming my only friends. There was this one dude whose house we went to, we only know as Moses. He had a 2-bedroom apartment, but somehow we fit almost 15 of us in to chill at parties that he threw. So I'll stop doing the quotations. I hardly ever spoke to Moses, but the big thing I hardly ever spoke to Moses, but he took a big liking to me for some reason. He'd share some of the extra potent with me. At times buy me a pizza and a beer, and generally just acted cool. He must have been 40-something, but I never had a stick up his butt or anything. Very laid back. One day I hit up Moses after failing the final and asked him if he was having a get-together that night. He texted back no. So I started making plans with other people. Like 10 minutes later, he texted me again. Actually, yeah, you can, but just you come. Don't bring anyone else. Naturally, I head over to his place because I want to get effed up, regardless of who else is there. I knock on his apartment door and he let me in. The place was empty. Whoa, man, where is everyone? I asked. Moses looked at me seriously. A look I'd hardly seen on his face before. Hey, listen. You've been pretty chill and level-headed at my parties. I want to offer you something. I'm going to this dude Ted's house tonight. He's got some of this new stuff that he's super exclusive with. He's down for you to tag along, but you have to really keep it on the lowdown. You in? What is it he's got exactly? It's just, you'll see. But trust me, it's out of this world. You in? You serious? You might as well just describe a Thanksgiving feast to a starving man. 10 minutes later, we had arrived at Ted's apartment complex. It was the dingiest crap hole I'd ever seen. Trash was lying around the front of the building, broken glass scattered about. The place just had a certain stink to it. Although I wanted to leave, my itch to get high was super strong. We went up to the 3rd floor where Ted's apartment was. Moses had a brief conversation with whoever opened the door before we were let in, assuring him I was cool. Ted's apartment was even more disgusting than the rest of the building. Almost no furniture, just dirty blankets and towels thrown on the floor. Like 10 people laying around on them, still as corpses. In the corner, someone was having sex with another person who looked barely conscious. All of them were moaning in this bizarre way. Almost like a death rattle from The Grudge, but a lot louder. I was freaking the F out. But I figured I wouldn't care about it at all soon. The doorman came to me and Moses. You guys ready? You know the deal. It's $150 for a hit. Yeah, I've got it covered, Moses said. Pulling out a small wad of cash, he gestured to me. It's this kid's first time doing Deadarm. Get him first. He handed the cash over to the doorman, grunted in approval. He took a belt from off the table. In the place of his own drawer, he conjured the syringe. It looked to be full of brown substance that looked like liquid dirt. He wrapped the belt tightly around my arm. Moses had made conversation as the doorman got the needle ready. Where's Ted at? He asked. The doorman replied, in his room. Don't F with them. Don't F and bug him. Fair enough. No Ben tonight? Nope. Remember what happened to his arm last week? He's too embarrassed to be seen like that, I guess. Should just cut it off. No doubt, brother. The doorman approached me with a needle. I nodded at him and he stuck it into the protruding veins in my arm. I watched the brown liquid leave the syringe and make its way into the bloodstream. As soon as the needle was out, I immediately and unwillingly dropped to the floor. My knees just stopped working. Everything stopped working. I couldn't move my head, arms, legs, even my mouth was hanging open. Completely numb, completely paralyzed. My head started ringing terribly. It was terrifying. I started to try to call out, but all I could do was moan. And I realized with the jolt that the noise I was making was not unlike the noise everyone else in the room was making. Then suddenly, the ringing in my head stopped and was replaced with such a deep relaxation that I cannot even describe to you in words. It was unlike anything I'd ever felt, almost otherworldly carelessness. My paralysis suddenly did not matter. My finals did not matter. Nothing mattered. My muscles felt like they were being lightly tugged in every direction. It felt like my body was dissolving into a puddle on the floor, and it was incredible. Not long after, I saw Moses fall on the floor beside me. The doorman stepped over to us and put the syringes he had used on us away. He went back to standing by the door, playing on his cell phone. An hour passed, nothing but pure bliss and silence, apart from the moaning and the humping in the back. Soon, though, the ladder noises stopped and suddenly this bare-naked dude was standing above me. The guy who was doing the banging, he crouched down to me, his hungry look in his eyes. I didn't care. I couldn't care. All that mattered was that I was laying down, with my muscles being deliciously pulled by whatever this was in my veins was. Unable to move, unable to think, only existing at a bare minimum. The naked stranger started whispering something to himself and licking his lips. He got closer to me, his face merely centimeters from mine. "Hey!" the doorman yelled. The naked stranger was yanked off me and thrown into the apartment wall. The doorman raised a fist to him threateningly. "What the F do you think you're doing? You paid for that one in the back, not this one. Come on, man. Let me have this one, the naked man screamed. Is this going to be an effing problem? Do I have to bring Ted in here? I heard the naked man whimper in fear. He shook his head, hustled to grab his clothes, and then ran into the apartment with them. And I was on the floor without a care in the world, almost raped by a stranger, and couldn't be bothered to give the slightest crap. I lay there for another 4 hours. Slowly, I felt myself coming back down to earth a bit. Although I still couldn't move or think straight, I started becoming a bit more aware. I wondered how long I would be like this. I wasn't worried about it. I was genuinely curious. I also started to ponder about where this Deadarm stuff could possibly come from and what was in it. Calling it my inner conscience, call it God, or call it the voices in my head, but something answered to my bemusement. Don't worry about where I'm from. Just keep yourself still. You belong to me right now. I could live with that. Another hour goes by. Discomfort started coming from my lower back. I still couldn't move, but there's a bit of relief knowing that my body was starting to respond to things around it. Crap. Even the relief itself was a relief. Some of the other people around me who were Deadarm started to come out of it and stumble out of the apartment, thanking the doorman as they passed. But then it was like 2 a.m. Yeah, around 2:30 the doorman got off his phone and went out of my sight. I heard him knock on the door, most likely one of the bedrooms, and call out, "Yo, Ted, I'm out, man. You got 6 or 7 out here, just a heads up." Although I could hear noises in response, I couldn't exactly tell you what was being said. The doorman spoke again. "Yeah, alright, man, have a good night." The doorman came back into view, stepped over me, and walked out of the apartment. Another hour passed, and then I heard one of the doors of the back are open. At the same time, someone came in walking out. One of the people who had been high on the floor started coming to, a woman. I heard her say to someone softly, "Oh, hey Ted, thanks for the hit. Do you think you could help me? You help me to the door? My legs are still a little numb." The noise it replied was almost completely killed my high. It was a mix between screams and wet gurgle. If I heard it a couple hours ago, I wouldn't have cared. But I could feel myself coming down and was suddenly absolutely terrified, but still couldn't move. 2 pairs of feet started making their way towards the door. One after another, 2 people came in my line of sight. The first was a 30-something blonde woman. She was stumbling a bit, using the wall I supported before making her way to the door, out of the door. Couldn't recall exactly what she looked like, but the second I will remember until the day I die. He was a man, but unlike any person I'd ever seen, before or since. His body looked like it had been stretched and pulled every which way like elastic. His arms were so long that his fingertips were touching the floor. His jaw was so wide that his entirety of his mouth had to be at least a foot long. It was full of jagged, broken, and yellow teeth. The skin underneath his beady eyes was black and sunken. The hair on his head was gone in uneven patches. Brown patches were all over his face, arms, and legs, and they were disgustingly leaking a similar colored liquid on the floor. It looked a lot like the Deadarm. The man was practically inhuman. Nobody in the human race, regardless of our breakthroughs in cosmetics, nobody like that, or was ever supposed to look like that. It was an effing monster standing over me, and even still, I couldn't move. All I could do was scream, and even when, not very loudly, but I did, the wet beady eyes of the monster looked down at me. The thing's head cocked slightly, and a look of confusion came over his face, as if it couldn't understand why the F I was screaming at the sight of it. It shook its head and walked out of my view, which terrified me even more. I didn't want to look at it, but also didn't want to be unaware of what it was. My mind was racing furiously, wondering what I should do. Maybe somehow I could roll myself onto the floor, No, just relax. You belong to me now, remember? It's not so bad. Just look at Ted. That effing thing was Ted? I tried to fight the overwhelming urge to just lay here, but found myself just as helpless as before. The straining to move at least one muscle was fruitless and started paining me greatly. Suddenly my muscles weren't relaxed. They were flaring up. It hurt so badly I didn't even scream. I just passed out. When I woke up, I was myself again, and I immediately started screaming as the memory of what went down last night came rushing back to me. Moses, who looked like he had just been woken up himself, was crouching next to me instantly. Dude, get a hold of yourself, he yelled. Relax. I told him everything that had happened, from the naked stranger to the voices I had heard after taking the Deadarm and the oozing monster that came out of the back room. Throughout my explanation, Moses' face fell. He said in a low voice, "You need to leave right now. Ted's insecure enough as it is. You're not going to help by calling him an effing monster. Thankfully for you, he's asleep right now." What the dude? He was stretched out. He didn't even look like a person. Side effect of Deadarm, man. Ted knows how to party. What are you effing telling me? That you can end up like that if I keep using that Dude, don't you remember how good it felt? Are you telling me it's not worth it? By the time he finished his sentence, I was already out of the door. I got to the apartment complex and turned my head. From the windows to the third floor, I saw a glimpse of Ted, the monster person, staring down at me with those tiny eyes, the impossibly wide jaw still agape, in a permanent state of relaxation. I screamed and sprinted away. I couldn't help it. Ever since that night, I refused to touch any other substance. I never spoke with Moses or my old crew again. I never even once walked near Ted's house. Not long after that night there, I was gone and I never invited to come back. And a part of me was glad. He's what I was afraid of the most, because I know someday I'm going to end up like him. I'm off drugs now, because nothing can compare to Deadarm. Nothing at all. I'll find it again and I will use it. This is one addiction that no amount of rehab can help. The relaxing helplessness, the stillness of the mind. Oh, and that soothing voice too. I hear it even today, all the time, whispering to me, "You're still mine, and I know you'll come back." I don't know if I like that story, and I read it terribly. Sorry. It did sound like a good drug, though. Why am I not... There it goes. My chat wasn't updating. Hey, Wild Adventures. This is why we all must never meet. Chappy. Hey, Go Fish. Ghost Farts. Hey, Civ. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? In a stew. That got crazy. My wife said, "What the hell is he reading?" I'm stealing that one, Cougar. Hee hee. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. It did kind of sound comfortable. Just I don't do drugs, so I don't know. It's fine. Hey, we got 10 people in here. Guys, just to let you know, Jason is streaming if y'all want to go by his stream. Hey, Go Fish. What's going on? I can pull up YouTube, see if Jason's streaming. He's got 11 people watching. Oh, but I gotta turn the volume down. My underwear has holes in it. It's still considered underwear? You're watching me and Jason. Still underwear, just holy. It's true. I got a bell. Oh, yeah, for Simple Cooking Channel. How am I doing today? I'm doing well. Went and had some IHOP with the with one of my aunts. She knew me when I was like this big. Breath for 1 minute, 28 seconds. Burt's Bees. I don't know how long I can hold my breath. I haven't done it in a while. Oh, we got 9 people now. We're losing to Jason. Oh, he's got 15. I can't even hear him. Anyways. I can hold a bong hit for 5 minutes. I suck in all that THC, man. I've always hated dolls. Oh, that sounds like fun. And if Ernie's wife is listening... Oh, it's a 5-minute. This is an easy one. Okay. Well, this is I've Always Hated Dolls. I'm pretty sure I haven't read this one. And it goes like this. Everyone has their fears, whether they're rational or irrational. Mine has always been dolls. Not all dolls, mainly just the ones that are a bit too human. I think it's mostly the eyes that get to me. So I'm sure you can imagine I was ecstatic to find out that the interior of my very own clown doll... Wait, what? Oh, I read that totally wrong. Yeah, so you can imagine I was ecstatic to find out I was the inheritor of my very own clown doll. It was the gift from my late great aunt. I met her maybe once or twice in my life. Why she always left all of the things to me was beyond me. The doll was something straight out of my nightmares. I mean, a doll was bad enough. When you throw it in a clown element as well, the doll's glass-like face was painted white, with red accents and marking all over its eyes and mouth and cheeks. The eyes themselves, however, were nothing but a black void. It was thick white hair jetting out all sides, a round hat that almost resembled a cherry on top. Its outfit is essentially your typical clown attire. Like the face, it was a mixture of red and white. The doll is about the size of a toddler. In other words, it's way too big to make me feel comfortable with it anywhere near me. I would have given it away, but out of respect for my grandmother, I kept it. Oh, wow. I lost the little thing I was playing with. I'm weird. Don't judge me. So naturally, I knew its new home would be my closet. I placed it in the back of a top in an old dresser that held clothes which no longer fit me. I thought that would be that, and my life would go on as it always had. Unfortunately, that would not be the case. I'm not exactly a tidy person, so my clothes rarely make it back to my closet. As a result, I didn't have to see a clown friend for quite a while. It was a few weeks before I finally went into my closet in the quest for a clean pair of jeans. There he was, sitting on the floor in front of the dresser. I assumed it must have fallen off the dresser somehow, because I can clearly remember setting him on top. Those black eyes were too much for me, though. Grabbing my jeans quickly, I left without bothering to put him back on top. I spent the rest of the day thinking about that doll, how it could have fallen off the dresser. Hey, Bridget. So, as a curious person, I decided to check on the closet when I returned home. The doll was there, of course, but it was back in its original position, atop the dresser. I approached it and looked into those empty eyes. Nothing. As much as it creeped me out, it was just a doll, right? I must just keep seeing it on the floor. I must have just imagined seeing it on the floor. I live alone, so there's no way anyone else could have moved it. Regardless, I remembered to stay clear of the closet as much as possible. A couple nights later, I was awoken by the sound of what seemed to be laughter. It appeared to be coming from the closet. It was very faint, which is why I was a bit surprised and it woke me up. Generally, I'm a very heavy sleeper. For something like this to wake me was quite odd. I just threw the very in there. It was just quite odd. My reading is quite odd. The last thing I wanted to do was go in that closet, so I decided in an attempt to wait it out. For about 30 seconds, I heard a loud thump, and then the laughter stopped. After turning on every light possible and arming myself with a kitchen knife, I decided it was time to check the closet. I slowly opened the door, and it was completely normal. Absolutely nothing was out of place. Even the doll sat up his normal spot on top of the dresser. I picked up the doll and felt around to see if there was any sort of speech box, but there wasn't. With a loud sigh, I set it back down and left my closet. Perhaps I was finally losing it. Over the next couple days, I was on high alert. I began to notice small things here and there had gone missing or removed, most notably small bits of food that I swear I hadn't eaten. I relentlessly searched every nook and cranny of my house, looking for any possible signs of vermin or other intruders. Everywhere, that is, except the closet. Alas, my searches turned up nothing, further confirming my idea that I was in fact losing it. That was until a couple nights later, when the laughing returned. This time, it wasn't just a faint laughter. It was a booming cackle. The laughter seemed to reverberate through the whole house. I was petrified. I didn't dare move an inch from my bed. The laugh persisted. I began to hear loud banging noise coming from my closet, until suddenly the door swung open. A large, dark figure emerged and stormed out of my room. I heard it sprint through my house, opening the front door and leaving. As soon as this happened, the laughter stopped. I reminded myself to breathe. I was finally able to move from my bed, and I approached the closet. What I found devastated me. My old dresser was no longer against the wall. Instead, it was now in the middle of my closet. And where the dresser had been, there was a hole. A hole easily large enough to fit a human behind, but small enough that you were never able to notice it if it was being covered up. Beside the hole was a doll, seated perfectly upright, with one arm outreached toward the hole. I didn't dare look in the hole, afraid of what I might find. Instead, I grabbed the doll and locked myself in the car. As I called 911, the police later confirmed my suspicions of what happened. Someone had been living in my home. Inside the hole was a pallet where the person had been sleeping, as well as a small amount of trash. Worst of all, the person had a small collection of pocket knives. They're probably not meant to be used as weapon, but it's still not exactly comforting to think about. Since that night, my clown friend has not left my room. He now has his own special perch on the table next to my bed. I'm still not a huge fan of dolls, but perhaps they aren't so bad. I think the doll was trying to warn that person. What did I miss? A live stream? Nope, I'm streaming now. I think I'm streaming now. Yep, that's my face. Yeah. My hair looks all crazy right now. Like this side's all down and this side's curled up. I didn't take the care of my hair. I didn't take care of my hair like I should have. Hey Brigitte, how are you? Yeah, they've always had layers, I think. Dad's videos are getting deep. It's your B-Day stream. Life is hectic. I hope you had a good B-Day though. Thank you. I mean, it would have been better if you were here, but no, that's fine. I don't make a big deal about my birthday. I've never had big birthdays, so don't know what I'm missing out on. All kinds of characters now. Mom, daughter, neighbor. Does he actually have characters on his show now? Civ? I mean, I don't know. Still sorry I missed it. No, you're fine. What do you think the bee is on? Who do you think the bee is on The Masked Singer? Maybe it's me. I don't know. Just because I know Ernie's wife is next to him, I just want to say really ridiculous stuff to make her smack him. I don't know why. Poor Bert wants his bees. She is right there. Better watch out. Better not cry. Because we're not going to read that story because it looks stupid. And it's not December. Oh, yeah. That felt... Oh, wonderful. Looking for stories. No, I haven't. The blue-eyed painting. A dentist. The secret doctors of NASA. A dentist's discovery. Return cards here. If I say a story y'all think is interesting, just say something. I found a laptop connected to the deep web. Any computer could be connected to whatever. Inside, in-CIDE. Go fish. I actually tried. It's harder than you thought. One sec. I'm going to watch my laptop. So I can hear better. I'm making pad thai and it's getting too loud. A peculiar kind of madness. The Grovewood Company. Projection. kind of like that one. The unopenable wooden box. Get a saw. The Book of the Ravenous. The Contact. Nope. That's Contract. That's definitely Contract. Never use cheat codes on a Ouija board. I kind of like that one. Small Town Mysteries. I will never work for McDonald's ever again. I need a good recipe for pad thai. Poor Chappy is tired. Am I? Am I yawning? I might be yawning. It's fine. Chinese Dream 10. Now I'm going to yawn. Thanks. The Scalp of Rabid Wolf. I'm back, bro. Forgot his shoes. Thanks for luck at Civ. What? Hey, Siawana. Piano Man. How am I? How am I? I just post my stream to my mom. The French Traveler. Am I crazy? Wonderland. The Dark Spots. Another fairy tale. The Elf on a Shelf. With a knife. Not doing that one. Killer Look. The Keepsake Box. A Deadly Legacy. I will never play the Ouija board again. The Pillow. Courage. Strength. Chappy. Chappy's Hellragers. French guy sounds naughty. Yeah, we're not reading naughty stories. That made Pip smile when you said that. A game about Kansas. The Box. What story? Katrina. This is mine. This is my head and it won't go away. Heaven's Herb. Flowers for Friends. Twisted Teddy. The Statue. The White Doors. Crazy? Or does this sound quiet? I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't just turn up the volume. Satin greedy in the fear. Peculiar painting. The tree. I'll stop that. The Magician's Game. Unused. I don't know. Muscles. Yeah, you know what? I always hated dolls. I'm gonna give that one a 10. That was a good one. Deadarm. That was pretty good too. The Forgotten Hour. Yeah, we'll read The Forgotten Hour. What are you doing? Oh no! I turned the light on because I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go out there. Are you still on YouTube? When am I not? I'm gonna call my mama and smoke a cigarette. Guys, I'll be right back. If y'all want to jam out to some of Sib's music, I'll BRB and stuff. BRB!
shrine slavery. Another free market for working people to give all their work for someone who never works at all. At all. It sets forever, just a moment, just a feeling.
hope everyone's okay. What's going on, guys? What are y'all talking about? Talking about Dad. Oh no. What if this was my voice? It's the first time I tried this one. I don't know what made me do it, but I did. It's kinda creepy, don't you think? Hee. Ah, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all these bodies.
I gotta stop doing that one. I might turn into my real voice. You made my son crack up.
Don't worry, Ernie, tonight I'm gonna see ya. I'll be hiding under your bed.
Hey, Doggo. What's going on, Bubba? How's dispatch tonight, man? Hopefully all's going well. I don't know if that was so much Herbert the pervert, but I don't know, something. Boring AF. Well, you can chill with us for the next 30 or so minutes. Forgot to... Oh, what am I supposed to do with these? There's 3 of them. Oh, because the first time I took one, it was only 1. Anyways, we're going to check out The Forgotten Heir. What does it say? Live stream Chappy. Chappy versus the Oh. Did y'all see Jason's stream? It says this. I'm gonna turn him up so I can hear him. I'm gonna turn the music down for a second. Let me listen. What's happening, Jason? Yeah, he's streaming while I'm streaming. Yeah, he just said hi to me on his channel, and yeah, he's got me playing on his side. And let me turn up his side.
Look, you've got 13, Chappy. I've got 14.
Yeah, that's what I'm putting on his side. And which one on his side?
I'm just gonna do this voice for now. Hopefully it all works out for us.
I've got 12 now. Chappy wins.
I'm just gonna do this voice for now. Hopefully it all works out for us.
Did y'all see Jason's face when I made that voice? Oh.
Did y'all see Jason's face when I gave that voice?
Oh. Oh. Where's my Burt's Bees? I don't know where Burt's Bees. Oh, there it is. Hey, Jason, what do your viewers know about Burt's Bees? I'm not trying to neglect mine. I got 14 people now. Mm-hmm.
Where's my Burt's Bees? I don't know where Burt's Bees. Hey, Jason, what do you know about Burt's Bees?
Oh. Jason, oh jeez, all this technology, and this is what we do all around the world. Wait. Oh, okay. I had to take the headphones off. I'm gonna get back to another scary story. So.
Oh no, we're gonna do some scary stories.
I'm neglecting y'all. I apologize. Now I'm down to 10 people. All right, anyways. All right. No, that was hilarious. We're going to get back to the music, guys. So I'm going to put him back to quiet. That was hilarious. People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces seem uglier when you're alone. Gotta go. Pad Thai's ready. You know, you could just listen to me while you're eating your Pad Thai. Look like you were looking at each other. Scare the poop out of him when he looks. It was completely hilarious. I loved it very much. He just did. Oh, we gained like 5 or 6 viewers, and they were just, who's that guy? What does he look like? I could, but my child can't. That's why you make your kid hold the iPad, and you just watch it. No. Pad bye, Bridge. I'll be back once he's in bed. 10-4. But maybe I'll be in bed by then. What am I looking for? That's what I'm looking for. Alright. The Squire and the Black Scroll. Nope. Projection. How long is that one? 12 minutes. That's good. The Forgotten Hours is a 5-minute, so we're going to do that one, guys. Bridget, I'll see you if I see you. Have a good night. Enjoy your Pad Thai. This is the one we're doing, guys. It's called The Forgotten Hour. As the last of the crisp brown autumn leaves fell to the warm pavement, the young man let out a sigh. So much had happened in the time since he left in the spring of 2001. His home, his workshop, even his favorite stores and restaurants were gone. Walking past the town hall, he was glad to see the building all patched up, as the earthquake of '96 had destroyed most of the building. The park was a lot cleaner now as well. Small children played while the others around them drank from thermoses and chatted as fall air playfully turned their noses a slight tint of red. A smile crept onto his face. He was definitely home. Life seemed brighter. He checked his watch. 1:04. Right on time, he thought to himself. Suddenly, the man was thrown into a fuzzy, cold darkness. Guess who? The man relaxed and saw a small smile appear on his face. Is that you, Anna? What? How did you know? John removed the gloved fingers from his face and turned around. Standing in front of him was Anna, a girl whom he hadn't seen in 5 long years. John, what are you doing here? I thought you were in Toronto. Yeah, well, I just got a week's vacation, so I came home. To be honest, you look like you need it. You look a lot older than I remember. How hard are they working you up there? John smiled, as though Anna would notice. However, it wasn't her character to investigate too much of the trivial things like that, so it didn't create an issue. About as hard as the cash I'm making up there. I think I'll have enough saved up to afford a dorm when I get back. Want to go get something to eat? I guess. I don't think I have anything going on. She smiled. Let's go to... Wait, said John. How about we hit the hot dog stand? After all, I've been craving a good American hot dog for a while now. All right, I'm fine with that. Thank God. John was flooded with relief. He certainly didn't want to waste time arguing about where to eat. He looked at the watch again before catching up with his friend. 1:06. I'm making good time. Just 12 more minutes. So meet up with any ladies in Toronto? Said Anna. John replied with a solid no. Whoa, are you serious? You're more hopeless than I thought. Clutching his chest, John made a pained expression and fell to his knees. And you think I called you my friend, he sniffed. They both laughed and made it to the stand, where a young man was lazily twirling a ketchup and mustard bottles. 1:08. A little early, but that's all right. What can I get started for you two? John needed to buy some more time. Let's get 2 dogs with everything on them. All right, that'll be... He did some math in his head. $7.60. I'll pay, Anna. Great. This should take a while if the kid was slow, as he seemed to be. The safest place to be here in the open. All right, here you go. Enjoy. He smiled and handed us beautifully crafted dogs. Moments after accepting my $10 bill, $1.10. Shh, you've got to be kidding me. Who the hell makes hot dogs that fast? How long has this guy been working here? We're 4 minutes off schedule, damn it. John, you okay? John couldn't escape it. Yeah, I'm fine. Just spaced out a little. No, you're not fine. At this rate, Anna will be done eating at 13:12. 1:12. She will not wait here. I need to find a way to stall. She cannot leave this spot. I must protect her. You gonna eat? I'm getting bored. We should go for a walk or something. Think of something, damn it. Keep her here. You can't lose her again. 1:13. 6 more minutes. I can do this. Why? Damn it, why? John, are you sure you're not sick? Let me, Oh. Someone happy belated birthday. How do they know my full name? I don't know. This is creepy. How does that person know my full name? Who is this? Whatever. John, you sure you're not sick? She stepped closer to him. Please stay. Huh? I can't hear you speak. I said please stay here. In the distance, dogs started to bark. Birds seemed absent now. They knew it was coming, and so did John. Please? 5 years was too long to wait to see you. What are you talking about? You've only been in Toronto for a month. You're coming back to college with me at the end of the month, right? 13, 14. I didn't want to have to explain this. Explain what? You're not making any sense. Anna, I need you to listen to what I have to say right now. Do you know why I look older than I did last month? Because I'm 5 years older, in fact. Anna gave no response. In 4 minutes, there will be an earthquake that hits here. In that earthquake, you will be killed. I'm still in Toronto. Anna started to look nervous. Though if in response to the earthquake part of the time travel, he was unsure. When I heard you died, I started to do research in time travel extensively. A subtle smile showed on her face. Though those years I developed a way to come back. Due to expenses, I only get one. Shot at this. The double space is killing me, guys. Sorry. Unless I can manage to get another $500,000 saved up anyway. This open area is left virtually untouched from the earthquake. That's why you need to stay here with me. 1317. Please just stay here, believe me. For 2 more minutes. She gave a skeptical look, however, she stayed quiet. Alright. 118. When this is over, I will disappear. But the me that belongs in this time period will still be here. He doesn't know anything. It doesn't have to. Okay? 119. We brace ourselves. John held onto her as tightly as he could. John wasn't going to lose her. Not again. 120. Nothing. Absolutely nothing happened. Children remained playing in the park. The hot dog kid was busy twirling around condiments and chatting it up with a few girls. People still walked up and down the street without a care. Another minute passed, and Anna quietly got up. If this is some kind of joke, it's not very funny. I don't understand, he winced. This isn't a joke, I swear. October 28th, 1996 at 13 hours, 19 minutes, 23 seconds, I memorized it. Why didn't it happen? His mind raced for answers. I'm going. Anna walked off out of view, passing a city worker who was now starting to blow leaves into the next piles. John noticed something that made his heart sink. Looking at the large billboard across the street, he began to laugh, tears in his eyes. I'm such an idiot, he thought. Don't forget the street. The sign read, set your clocks back an hour, daylight savings ends at October 28th at 2 a.m. Yeet! The Super Juju Bean. How you doing? I like that name. Anyways, sorry about that. You'd think time machines wouldn't care about daylight savings. No, humans do. I don't get that story, actually. Slama lamba ding dong. Maybe I could find a short story, a quick story before I go to bed. Cause I gotta go to bed at a regular time. Because if I don't, I'm I'm gonna have problems waking up tomorrow, and it's not so good for me, for my job, you know. It's just what I do. Maybe if they're solar powered, I don't know. I'm looking for another story. A game about Kansas. The box. What story? Katrina. He's in my head and won't go away. Creatures of the night. Let's get freaky tonight. Ha. Lauren, ha. You got me. What would you guys do if you're looking in the mirror and the image blinked? Hey, Smiley. What's going on? I hear the music. I'm sorry. Another universe? Giggity giggity. Little wooden box. I like the rituals. Go to do you wear a lanyard at work? Me, no. The hidden webpage. Know my uncle too well. I think I read that one. A ghost is just a friend I haven't met yet. I'm trying to figure out who Beckett Bish is. Jim X commented, happy belated birthday. Whatever. Oubliette. Oh yeah, I missed your birthday. Didn't I? It was yesterday. Yeah, it's fine. I never make a big deal out of my birthday. No one ever has. It's no big deal. Happy birthday. You're welcome. Wait, thank you? Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. You're welcome. That doesn't fit. Am I crazy? How to exit your body during sleep paralysis. Let's try this one. It's 14 minutes long though. Happy B-Day to Chappy. Thank you. I mean, it's not my birthday anymore, so. You keep it down back there, please. Astral projection? Maybe. Maybe. This is the story. I just like the instructionals. I don't know why. Maybe I'll try one of them one time. The sleeping mind fascinates me, namely the nighttime hallucinations we call dreams. Because of this, I kept a journal to record every thought that passes through my brain at night. I set at least one alarm each day so that I'm able to wake up during the REM cycles and recall my grandest dreams. Shut up, stupid ghost. Lifting with Chappy. Sometimes I'll fall back asleep, but for the most part, I keep up with it. I've been enlightening experiences so far. I filled a dozen notebooks with my nightly adventures. In addition to cataloging my dreams, I studied the phenomenon. I've dissected every sleep guide at my disposal and watched countless documentaries. I even took an elective back in school called Nocturnal Fantasies. Though it only lasted one semester, not enough students shared the affinity for the topic. In other words, most of the waking life is consumed by sleep in one form or another. Craving more knowledge on the subject, I recently pursued my town library's massive local authors section. I was hoping to find a book on dreams that I hadn't read, as this was one part of the library I'd yet to set foot in. It was a long shot, but one I was willing to take in the name of research. After finishing through a plethora of self-published romance novels, I happened across a non-fiction title that caught my eye. Sleep Tactics, Exercises for a Mind at Rest, written by Jack Grovewood. The blurb on the back was a vague reminiscent of a self-help book, and quotes like, "Learn the secrets to be a good night's rest," and feed your mind's insatiable appetite for a better understanding. Not a book on dreams per se, but it did pique my interest. Delving into the book at home, I found it to be more up my alley than I previously expected. It was filled with chapters pertaining to lucid dreaming, meditation, and even sleepwalking. I was already familiar with most of the content, but it turned out to be more enjoyable of a read. It wasn't really until the last chapter, though, that I was caught completely off guard. I will outline most of it below. Chapter 16, How to Exit Your Body. Disclaimer, this is not OBE or out-of-body experience. As stated in Chapter 8, Out of Bed, I do believe in OBEs, but I find that they're just another form of dreaming. What I'm divulging to you is something completely different. It's neither an OBE or any other dream state. This is a way to truly exit your body using sleep paralysis as a catalyst. Before I discuss specifics, I like to go over a few prerequisites. To pull this off, you must be proficient at lucid dreaming. What I mean by this is that you'll need to have lucid dreams regularly and retain lucidity for long periods of time in these dreams. It also helps if you're able to manipulate your dream environment with ease. If you only lucid dream on occasion, you'll have to train your mind to do so more often. See Chapter 6, Becoming a Lucid Lucy. If you, however, are unable to lucid dream, then this technique is not for you. It's nothing personal. You simply lack the tools needed for departure. Another requirement is sleep paralysis. Most of us have experienced it at one time or another, but it will help immensely if you experience it on a regular basis. Coupled with the lucidity and a focused mind, sleep paralysis is one way out of your own skin, so to speak. That's all you need in the way of mental capabilities, more or less. It's an added bonus if you've had an OBE or wake-initiated lucid dream. See Chapter 7, Wake Unto Sleep. Now on to the fun part. I'm going to lay this out step-by-step fashion, followed by a more detailed explanation of what you need to expect upon achieving your first departure. Keep in mind that results may vary. I don't think this is creepy at all. It's fine. It's fine. Fall asleep on your back in a slanted position. It could be in a recliner or a car seat, but your body must be diagonal related to the ground level. That's the only time I get sleep paralysis. When I'm like this. It's weird. For one reason or another, gravity plays a role. Step 2. Attain sleep paralysis. This is more of a waiting game than a step, as it's not entirely possible to execute at will. When does it happen? Lucidity is key. You must be aware that you're in a sleep state of paralysis and be unaware of your lack of mobility. This is one of the ways of being a lucid dreamer comes in handy. Step 3. Once paralyzed, attempt to move your legs. If you're in the proper position, at least one of them should be mobile. If you can't move either leg, you'll have to restart the experiment by tilting your seat in a different position. Step 4. Upon freeing one or more of your legs, attempt to free your arms. They will feel incredibly stiff. You shouldn't be able to move them, might as you try. You should then feel a sharp sting in your head. Don't be alarmed. You're not having an aneurysm. This is completely normal and necessary to make your exit. No, I haven't. I'll have to check it after the story. Nobody loves you. That's funny. That's funny. I'll have to show people in a second. Step 5 is difficult, as strenuous as it may be. Keep trying to free your arms. As you do this, attempt to move the rest of your body as well. Put everything you have into fighting this paralysis. Don't just fall back asleep. Step 6. As you wrestle with your body and mind, the stinging sensation in your brain is going to grow. It won't be painful, but it will cause you great discomfort. Let it happen. As the sensation builds, you should start to feel yourself drift away from your body. Don't fight it. Your mind is like a rubber band and will want to bounce back from where it's being stretched. Don't let it. Follow the flow of departure. If you steal your mind's focus and follow these instructions to a T, you will have successfully exited your earthly meat sack and unlocked a marvel of the mind that you have only begun to understand. And that's the gist of it. The author went on to say that the world to find yourself in upon departure will harbor some differences to the one you started in. It will appear similar to almost every way, but will be completely void of any life forms. On top of that, nothing will budge. Everything will remain in its place, as still as can be. After revealing the delicate process of re-entering one's body, the author ended the chapter with an eerie warning. Whatever you do, don't go near water. I was dumbfounded. The entire book up to this point was factual, but the last chapter seemed like something straight out of a science fiction novel. It certainly made for good entertainment, but I couldn't make heads or tails of it. Why have such an out-of-place pseudo-science chapter in an otherwise reputable book? It just didn't make any sense. About a week passed before I thought about the book again. It was almost time to return it to the library, so I decided to reread the final chapter. As absurd as it seemed, the teetered I teetered between laughing it off once and for all and actually giving it a shot. I did meet all the requirements, and it would amuse me to some small extent. I could, at the very least, say that I tried it for myself, for no other reason than to prove that it was a load of crap. After weighing the pros and cons, I ended up giving in to my curiosity. I knew it wasn't going to work, but it would seem like a fun experiment, if nothing else besides. Was there really anything better to me to do than an episode of sleep paralysis? The only minor nuisance was that I'd have to sleep on my recliners instead of the comfort of my king-size Serta mattress. A small price to pay for the sake of scientific discovery, I suppose. On the night in question, I wound up having 3 episodes of sleep paralysis. During the first, I was far too groggy. Groggy? That's not a word. Groggy. I was far too groggy. So, I completely forgot about the book and quickly fell back asleep. The second one lasted a bit longer, and I was able to remember the steps outlined in the last chapter. I could just barely move one of my legs, and upon trying my arms, I did feel a bit noticeable discomfort in my head. I wonder for a split second if the author was into something that made me a bit excited. Because of this, I jolted awake. Reflected on the incident, I became intrigued. I still didn't believe that I could exit my body, but I knew something was going on. I decided to tilt the recliner back a bit and try again. This time, I would have a better control. Next episode came pretty quick. I hadn't fallen asleep yet, but my body was getting ready to. This is it, I thought. I followed the paralysis to a full set before attempting anything. It was difficult to not fall asleep again, but I managed. This time around, I was able to gain full control over my left leg. I moved it back and forth a few times before trying to free my arms. True to the method, they wouldn't budge, and felt oddly stiff, more so than usual. This is when the familiar sting set in. It jarred me, but I kept going. The more I tried to move my arms, the greater the sting grew. Believe it or not, I continued. As I continued, I did in fact feel myself drifting away from my body. I tried to keep it up, but my nerves got the best of me. I lost control for a moment and was sucked right back into my body, immediately waking up in the process. This experience startled the hell out of me. I was getting to see more and more likely, like the last chapter of Jack Grovewood's book was somehow accurate. My curiosity came aroused to such an extent that I felt the overwhelming need to tell somebody about it. Luckily, I knew the person. My buddy Josh is a character. He believes in a lot of what I don't. This causes us to butt heads in a lot of topics. In simple terms, I'm a skeptic and he's a believer. One thing we can agree on, however, is our love for dreams. He's the only person I can talk to at length about the subject. He also happened to meet the requirements listed in the book. I was hoping he would join me for some sleep session and help me get to the bottom of what's going on. I called Josh up and told him everything. He was ecstatic, as I knew he'd be. He agreed to meet me at my place the following night for departure. In his mind, this was going off without a hitch. I wasn't completely sold on it yet. I was just happy to have someone else to tag along for the ride. Fast forward to the following night. We hung out for a bit, then I showed Josh the book. His eyes grew wide upon reading the final chapter. He couldn't wait to try it out for himself. Hey, Hope. No, I cannot. I told him not to get his hopes up, but it was clear to me they already were. Ready as ever, we laid down at opposite ends of the living room on my 2 recliners. Josh cracked a joke about how this the first night we'd be sleeping together. I threw a pillow at him, and then we were off. Shut eye, and just around the corner. This was when things took a turn for the bizarre. I didn't have an episode of sleep paralysis right away, but I did end up waking a few hours into my nap. I noticed that Josh was fast asleep in the recliner across the room. Needing to empty my bladder, I walked past him to go to the bathroom, tripping over his legs in the process. I met the floor with a thud and turned around to see if Josh had woken. To my surprise, he hadn't. I knew he was a heavy sleeper, but even he should have woken up, given the commotion. Becoming worried, I called out his name. No reaction. I tried shaking him. Nothing. I grabbed his wrist and checked his pulse. It was there, however weak. This was when I panicked. I ran into my room, grabbed my phone, and scrambled to hit the call button. Just as I was about to dial 911, I heard a loud gasp from the room next door. Like a diver coming up for air. Diver. Like a diver. And the first thing I see is Chappy making suggestions. I cannot just post any kind of music. That's true. I'll get in trouble. Damn it. I ran out there as fast as I could. To my delight, Josh was awake. He looked up with me with wide eyes and said, "Dude, it effing worked." I was flabbergasted. I thought Josh was was an over-enthused believer and downright stubborn at times. He was no liar. I asked him more than once. He was sure that he wasn't dreaming and insisted. He was absolutely certain. But his firm conviction and weak pulse just moments before, I had no choice but to believe him. It seemed that the book was legitimate after all. We spent the next couple hours talking about it. After leaving his body, Josh found himself in the living room. He was noticeably inanimate. Everything was perfectly still. Not even a speck of dust floating in the air. Josh also noticed that his body was translucent, a milky white outline of his former shape. He attempted to open the door to the house, but the knob wouldn't bulge. It took him a while to realize this, but he found out that his new form allowed him to phase through walls. Josh went on to tell me that the world outside was very different than ours. He said it was like having a contrast dialed up on a picture, and the static of nature, everything made it feel like it was being trapped in a photograph. I tried to imagine it, but I knew I needed to see it for myself. We made plans to go back to sleep and enter the world together. Despite my excitement, I was able to make my first successful departure that night. Josh was in the room waiting for me, next to his sleeping body. Seeing ourselves like that was fascinating in and of itself. But I wanted more than anything to see the world outside. A world where adventure and discovery awaited us. If I had 3 wishes, I'd waste one and reach through and grab Chappy's burnt beef. Anyways, this is the last story. I'll check it out tonight or tomorrow. In fact, I'll click on it. I'm trying to read a dang story. Yeah, then I have to put... If I use that music, I have to put the link in the description, and if it's okay with you, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll play it tomorrow. For a few weeks, Josh slept over at my house and we explored the new world. It was fun and downright addicting. Curiosity was what kept us going. We wanted to know more and more about the odd realm we had discovered. We were just a few of the things we learned during our excursions. The lighting is fixed. It always looks to be about noontime, though there's no sun in the sky. It's impossible to phase through older buildings, not sure why. There are no life forms, just as the book stated. Not even animals or insects. Sound is reverbed. There's always a slight echo when Josh and I talk. It's possible to fall asleep there, but you won't dream. If you travel too far from your body, you'll hit an invisible wall and be unable to go any further. Time doesn't pass in the real world while you're departed. That's kind of cool. After about a month of successful departures, things changed. The more we explored, the more uncomfortable it felt. It always seemed like something was watching us, even though there was no one around. Josh was the opposite. Our late night adventures becoming so routine for him, he was becoming bored. He kept talking about water and how he wanted to go get a closer look at the pond near the main road. I reminded Josh of the author's warning, but it didn't seem to faze him. Eventually, his curiosity got the best of him. One night, upon leaving my body, Josh was nowhere to be found. I thought that maybe he hadn't departed yet. But up to that point, he had always beat me to the punch. This can only mean one thing. I phased through the walls of my house and raced to the nearby pond. Josh was there, standing at the end of the dock the locals use for fishing in the real world. I yelled out to him, "Josh, what are you doing?" "It's fine, see? There's nothing to be afraid of, it's just water." I watched as Josh reached down and touched the surface of the pond. It rippled. The hair on my back stood up. The back of my neck stood up. The water should not have reacted. We'd been there for weeks and hadn't seen a single thing move. Even the air was still. Perplexed, I began walking towards Josh. He lifted his hand up, and just as awestruck as I was, he pulled his arm back. The ripple expanded. With it, a small portion of the water turned dark. After a few moments, something reached out of the blackness. It was a hand. An effing hand. It reached up and grabbed Josh's leg, yanking him downward. He went feet first into the water, holding onto the dock for dear life as he screamed. I ran towards him, but before I could get halfway to his position, I watched him disappear into the water. I ran the rest of the way, but the darkness had faded and returned to normal. My best friend was gone. In a state of fear-induced panic, I ran away. I wanted to save Josh, but I didn't know how. Plus, I felt like if I re-entered my body, perhaps I'd find him, awake in the real world. But that was wishful thinking. But it was all I had. That wishful thinking fell flat as I awoke. Josh was still unconscious. I tried and tried, but I could not wake him. Eventually, I called 911, and he was taken on a stretcher. The doctors say he's in a coma, but can't discern what caused it. And that's everything. I'm an effing wreck over what happened. I tried visiting Josh in the hospital, but I can't face his parents. They're always there. Instead, I go to the pond in the real world, hoping that somehow I'll find answers. All I do is end up finding more questions. They keep me up at night, along with the reoccurring nightmare replaying the events from that day. I've tried departing since, but to no avail. Something's holding me back. It might be fear. That world is like a photograph, a still frame of a place we were never meant to see. A moment frozen time with the layer of reality stripped away. And something is alive there. Despite this truth, I need to dive back in and save my friend. He didn't heed the author's warning. But I'm the reason he entered that world in the first place. I'm the reason he can't wake up. I have to go back. Well, folks, it's 9:21. I gotta get some sleepy sleeps. But before I go to sleep, we're gonna put on some Burt's Bees. Maybe I'll go smoke one and let y'all chill for a little bit. I will join y'all in the chat room. Burt's Bees is This battery is a perfect fit to this Burt's Bees. So it's actually got suction to it. And then does a... I'm gonna smoke. I might try that next time I have sleep paralysis in my truck. Because if I fall asleep like this, I can feel it. Well, I gotta have a headrest. I have like a neck pillow I use. It's awesome. Chapped. Anyways. Blue light. Bibbidi bobbidi boop. LOL, LOL, LOL. Hey, the smiley virus. Yeah, maybe one day I will do a podcast. Have Nathan on the show or Jason or something. Check your donations after the stream. I'll check them right now. What'd you do? Holy crap. Oh, the smiley, I love you. Oh, my insides feel like they're tearing up. Holy crap. Sorry. No after. Well. Okay, I won't check them now, even though I just saw it. Smiley virus, you're awesome. You've given me way too much money. Oh man. Now I kind of know how Nathan feels and how Jason feels when people donate. I don't know what to say, but other than thank you very, 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 very much. You need a P.O. box. Then you can do the anthrax challenge. Aww. Anyways, guys, I do have to get off here. It's 9:30, and my insides feel like I've got a baby alien inside. Really, it's like, like, oh, it's bad. Oh, we got a voice message. Let's hear what this says.
First piece, hee hee. First piece, hee hee. First piece, hee hee.
No, maybe it's just a fart or something. I don't know. But anyways, guys, I love all of you very much. Y'all are all very awesome people. Smiley, you're an awesome person. You don't have to keep giving me donations like that. Nighty night, don't birth any aliens. I'll try not to. But if I do, I'll mail it to you, Pip. Hee hee. No. Anyways, guys, yeah. You guys are great. I love you all very much. I mean, we still have 12 people in here. Birth little brown chappies. Oh. Anyways, what's pace reference? I don't know what that is. Performance mode. Oh, what is that? What is performance mode? Performance is disabled in performance. I don't know what performance mode is. A big. You guys are gross. Unlock sources. Oh shoot! No, I need to lock all the sources. Lock sources. Oh. Performance mode is I can't see anything. I don't know. What is live mode? I can't see anything in live mode either. Preview is disabled in performance mode. Let's try something. I'm going to count to 3. And on 3, I want y'all to say something in the chat. Tell me when you can hear me. 1, 2, 3. Eight seconds. let's try this one more time. We're gonna go out of performance mode. I'm gonna do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. Furt. Rabies. You guys are funny. Anyways, I will try to stream earlier tomorrow, guys, unless work decides to keep me late. Why do I want to take this thing off? It's empty behind. Can you see that flexing? It's just PCB behind this. I want to know what the magic pixies inside are doing. Wow. I saw 3s really late. I'm gonna go 2 on the moon now. Bye. Just messing with you. Anyways, guys, I love you all. Smiley Virus once again. You're insane. What is create output projector? I don't know what this is. Oh. I see the same screen. And I can make I can make a full screen. Oh. That is disheartening. Alright, we're gonna close that. Yeah. I look better on a much smaller screen. Chappy, Chappy, Chappy! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off. Cough, cough. What's up, Go Fish? You aren't leaving, are you? Yeah, I am. I gotta go. Playing an intense game or have a potato computer. Oh, Pip, did you Google it? I sent us a dumb thing. You. Us. Who? Looking now. Check that out. It's really cool. That's really cool. I'm saving that. Keep doing more, Lauren. It's awesome. I love it. But anyways, guys, I love you all. You guys are literally insane. You're the greatest people ever. Smiley Virus, you're insane. But I love you very much. Thank you very much for that. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 6, hopefully. If not, a little bit later. If you got anything for me, just email me. It's... Dang it. Yeah, I saw my... Fixed it. Yeah. Anyways. If I triple X'd it, bye, fax it. Anyways, guys, yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. At the same time, if not a little bit later, but I should be on at my regular time. Ship it and lick it. JK, bye. Fuchsia it. That's what I'm reading it as. Hey, Jason, what's going on, Bubba? I'm just signing off. Are you still streaming, you crazy nut? Where is Jason's stream? Where is Jason's stream? Oh, Jason's over. Well, oh, my bee. How many people we got in here now? Did you just invade my room? 13 of you. Okay, that's good. But you guys are great. You're awesome. Jason, please figure out YouTube thing. Yeah. My sharp teethies. The West Coast always rolls in now. I know. Chappy, how do I send Finch a friend request on YouTube? Okay, it's like this. You're doing it on your phone. You go to inbox, where you got all your little chats. Then you go right here to friends. And you got these two little guys. One is send or share invitation link. It's going to have this screen. Right? Or I can just add you two to a chat room if you want. Here, let me do this. Nope. Simple cooking channel. Bam. Add. Bam. Friend zoned. Swazzle bozzle weasel deeble do. Good night and bedtime for me too. Stay longer, please. I really gotta go, guys. I gotta get some sleep, and these sleeping pills are starting to kick in. Oh yeah, I got my dart. I want to shoot at something, but I don't know what. My wall. It's stuck in that far. Focus. 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 Well, anyways, it's stuck in that far. Yeah, it's stuck. I got a little hole now. I see it now. I gotta sharpen this thing. That's what she said. Pellet gun next. Oh no. What about real gun? I've got one of those. No, I'm just kidding. Where's my real gun? It's over behind me. I don't usually keep it in arm's reach because I don't play with it. It's a gun. It's not a toy. Giggity giggity. Anyways, guys. Until next time, stay creepy. I love you all. That is really satisfying. That's really satisfying. You guys are the best. Chappy, I mentioned you in my last. In your last what? Night Dangerous? I'm gonna do some backflips. Chappy loves Tappy. It's no harm if it's clear. Have a good one, Chappy. The dinner winner. Chappy, stop wrecking your desk. Okay. What art thou doing? That is so satisfying. I was poking this dart into the LED strip along the copper. I'll show you. I don't know. That's what I was doing. Oh, the tip's bent a little bit. Let's take it to the belt sander tomorrow and just... Anyways, you guys are awesome. I will see you all tomorrow. Good night. Hope your pad thai was good. if I'm under your bed tonight, please don't fart. Oh, I imagine pad thai farts are the worst. How long can we keep Chappy awake? Not much longer. 16 people are in here now. Jesus. Go to bed, Chappy, or Dad will come. All right. You guys are the best. I love you all. Yeah. Have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.